death, taxes, and the Angels somehow winning a series that we all thought they were going to lose. It's the Payoff Pitch. Welcome back, everyone. Fellas, how we doing? How was your weekends?
Long.
Let's see what you had a marathon 2 weeks ago. Hey, you were at Minneapolis last week, right?
Yeah, tornadoes and shit apparently happens in Minneapolis. So I had no idea.
Steve looks like if we disagree with his take once, he's just gonna cry on air right now.
No, I'm not that invested tonight.
That's always a good start.
Yeah. 1 minute in and we're ready to call it. I was going to say good weekend for your Nats, huh? Sweeping the O's. I saw the signs that people were putting up around. I saw a sign that that was posted in Baltimore. The Nats retweeted saying, "Do you want to not be a bird anymore? Click here." And they had a bunch of like Orioles going up to it and everything.
I mean, it's a good marketing strat.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming. I thought they'd at least take one, but
I just didn't think they were going to give up 6+ runs in the first inning of every game.
Yeah,
I mean they're 15-30 right now. They have the third worst record in baseball.
Yeah, their pitching's in shambles.
Yeah, they're currently 1 game ahead of Chicago. They're 2 games behind Miami. They're 2 games behind Pittsburgh. And then, they're only ahead of Chicago and Colorado, which Colorado is the only team left without 10 wins this season. They're 8-32.
And Baltimore fired Brandon Hyde. So,
yeah. Like how everyone thought, it's going to give a spark to the team. And then they got torched.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get started. So Steve can go take a nap or go to
on
bed.
the way, man. Let's fucking rock and roll, man. Ready to go.
He's watching his wings get torn up right now. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
He thought about the idea of Ace Bailey becoming a Dallas Maverick, and it scared him. All right, so we'll start in the NL East. We'll start from the bottom of the NL East here in terms of at least alphabetical order, since we're already talking about your Nats. If you're Washington, are you a buyer, a seller, or do you hold on to your pieces going into trade season?
I think they're going to sell at least Bell and Lowe, personally. They'll probably try to keep on to everybody else, but I think Bell and Lowe will be gone.
Wait, Lydia's giving me breaking news here. You put this one up on the screen. Got them. Yep. Fantastic news for all you Mike Trout fans out there. Thank you, Lydia, for dropping an awesome bomb to kick the show off. Now my mood is completely different.
What she didn't include was he took 1 step down the stairs and dislocated his knee at the same time.
But yeah, back to the Nats. I'm with Kev. I'm just joking. I mean, one thing about this ownership, do we expect them to buy anything? No. So we can already take that off the table off the bat. I just don't see an in-season move from these guys. And we were talking about who's going to be on contract next year and what they're going to what they're going to do going forward. So I definitely lean into selling. They're definitely trying to make some money back, do what they can do, but they're not building for a winning club in the long run. I don't see the vision.
No, like I told you at the beginning of the season, I think they're a year away from being like a wild card contender. It's just the pitching. I mean, you have every pitching prospect you have in your system up until like your 40th is relief pitching or starting pitching. So you're either going to have to convert some of them to relief pitching, which Jackson Rutledge seems to be showing he can pitch in relief. You got guys like Brad Lord that you're starting that are clearly relief pitchers that you're trying to extend. I'm not too sure where you go with this team. Honestly, I think Bell's gone. I think they hold on to Lowe just because of the fact that I don't think they're showing willingness to bring Juan Yepes back up yet. And at least you have a year of arbitration. So you can at least see if you can get him to agree to a low-term contract. If not, then you could trade him in the offseason. Not just because that's what I did of the MLB The Show franchise and it worked. So just letting you know.
Let's put it out there.
Yeah, just put it out there. I'm the greatest GM alive. I'm rebuilding the Hawks right now. All right, so going on to the next team here in the East. Philly has one of the weakest schedules in the month of June, where they're only a half game out of first place in their division. Over the rest of this month through June, they're going to see the Rockies, the Blue Jays, the Pirates, and the Marlins. Now with the news of their top relief pitcher out for 80 games with suspension and ineligible for the playoffs, where do you go if you're Philly? Can they take advantage of this schedule? Can their bullpen put it together? I guess, let's start with, can they take advantage of what the Mets have going on this month? Because the Mets have one of the hardest schedules of baseball in June.
Atlanta, Philly, and Dodgers for the Mets next month. I can see a path for Philly. I have to look at all their games and the series they have. But you said, overall, easiest schedule in June. Definitely can make up some space on the Mets. Now they have all this drama brewing with Soto.
You mean Alvarado?
Alvarado.
Oh,
yeah.
Are you talking about the Mets or the Phillies?
I'm talking about Soto for. I'm talking about for the Mets. Not your not Alvarado, but everything else coming out about he really wanted to be a Yankee, but he only left because his family, and all of a sudden he's miserable at the Mets now. All of a sudden, like, okay, all right.
Yeah, but they've been doing that since the start of the season. Like, the Yankees fans acted like he played there for 10 years. Like, he played there for one season.
Right.
Right. That's like if Javi Baez went back to Citi Field for a game and they were like screaming at him and turning their backs to him when he played there for 2 months. Like,
right. I don't know, man. It is weird, but yeah, I think Philly can do it. Philly's pitching. What is it? Nola needs to pitch a little better. Danny's in the middle here, man. All right.
No, my computer. What the fuck is going on right now?
Oh.
My computer just like turned off.
Weird.
I don't know what's going on. My computer just like turned off in the middle of you talking. I was like, what the fuck is that? I've never seen my computer fall asleep mid-show.
Oh, wow. It is plugged up, right? Didn't just go to sleep.
I had a really cool PowerPoint. I was about to surprise you guys. That's what it was. Kev, are we buying in on the Phillies?
Yeah, they're only a half game back in the Mets right now. They have one of those lineups who, skill wise is capable of putting up 10 runs a game. Obviously, they're not going to do that because it's baseball and it's hard, but they have the bats. Their starting pitching is fine. I know losing Alvarado is big, but I think they'll be fine. I think they'll take the lead going into the All-Star break, but I don't think the Mets will really honestly be that far behind.
Side note: Logan Allen is back in. They just started back up. He got his 3rd K.
Yeah, I need one more then.
Oh, if I see Ober got taken out, I'm gonna be pissed. Yeah, and in terms of now with Alvarado, how aggressive are you going into this next month in terms of relief pitching? In terms of like going out and getting a new arm or
How bad was his injury? I know it was a shoulder, but
Alvarado? No, he got suspended.
Oh, he did?
He got PEDs. He's out for 80 games. And he can't pitch in the playoffs. So now their closer is out for the playoffs. And, they were talking about on MLB Network.
Why are you a closer taking PEDs, bro?
So what it was he took a diet pill to help lose weight this summer. And they found out it was a new item on the restricted list.
Did he self-report?
No, so the first drug test they took, it came out with that. And then a month later, after spring, or like 2 weeks later after spring, after he stopped using that the weight loss medication, he didn't test positive at all in 3 different tests. So it was clearly just the weight loss medication had something in it, but because it was in the system and they had to suspend him.
Okay. Well, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
You would think guys who have team doctors and
I would think especially I thought that with like when it was Tatis's, like you would think at a certain point it'd be like, hey, can you give me a list of like things that cannot be in my medication so I can give it to doctors so I don't get suspended?
Right. I mean, yeah, maybe it's as simple as an email. Like, this is what's being prescribed to me. Is this allowed? Can I take contain anything that I shouldn't be taking, but it's probably not even like PEDs. It's probably like a masking agent that he tested.
Yeah, especially if you remember with Profar, he got caught with HGH with an HGH hormone. That's sole purpose was to flush out any steroids in your system. So he didn't get caught with the steroids. He got caught trying to get rid of the steroids.
Right.
No, I think Philly's got to go to some of these teams that are like bottom end of their leagues in their divisions and just being like, hey, what do you need prospect wise? I mean, I'm looking like my first thought was a team like Houston who has some decent like middle leverage guys and they also have one of the worst farm systems in baseball, just to go, hey, what we could give you like a guy that's our top, that's like number 25 in our system, but he's number 3 in yours. Like right now, for like 2 relief pitchers. And I'm sure they would probably do it if they weren't in second place right now. But
I mean,
I think time will tell. I think if they don't go after an arm by end of June, I think it's kind of a worry, because I don't think this bullpen can get it done. It's going to look a little bit like the Orioles, where it was just your bat's got to be better than your pitching. And moving on to the team that Mr. Fast Breaks mentioned already with Soto. The Mets, coming off losing the Subway Series, losing right now to Boston, will play 20 games against the Dodgers, Braves, and Phillies over the next month and a half. Can they keep this run up? Are they starting to slow down? How is this pitching rotation built with middle rotation guys going to do against 3 World Series contending teams over the teams that have contended for the last 4 years?
I mean, I think they definitely fall off. They're not going to keep the pace they're currently keeping, but I imagine they probably go 500 over this stretch. I mean, the key series is against the Phillies and the Braves, right? In division, if they can somehow get on top of those, you keep yourself in contention with that division heading into the All-Star break. I wouldn't necessarily worry about the Dodgers series all that much. It's the Phillies and Braves that you want to make sure that you try to win a series or two with those.
Yeah, and also it's it's like 9 games in a 15-game stretch against the Braves and the Dodgers, or the Braves and the Phillies too. So it's like right on top of each other. Steve, are the Mets legit, or are they going to fall?
I mean, Kev makes a good point. They concentrate on trying to get those series against Atlanta and Philadelphia. It helps them out in the long run. Dodgers, I mean, you said Dodgers run is like in between.
No, they have the Dodgers after this Boston series. The Dodgers to start June, and then end of the month they have Braves, Phillies, Braves in consecutive days with no day off from Tuesday, June 17th to the 26th. They play Atlanta, Philly, Atlanta, consecutive days. 2 on the road, 1 at home.
Yeah, that means they just got into that month strong.
That's a gauntlet. Like you got to come out of that at least 500, especially 2 of those on the road.
Yeah. So I mean, probably by the end of the month, we see Philly probably top of the division.
No, she didn't say Atlanta there. Just wanted to, point that out.
Well, you hate when I talk about your team, so I didn't want to.
Yeah, I know. Just wanted to point out we also have the best record since April 20th, and our best players coming back. But anyway, as we're moving into our next team, which is the Atlanta Braves, Acuna has only played 3 rehab games. In those 3 games, 1 in the Spring Complex League, 2 in AAA. He is 4 for 6 with 2 home runs, a double, and the Ja Morant celebration on every hit now. We're so back, in my humble, unbiased opinion. But for you guys, will Acuna's return be enough for this team to make the postseason?
You want to hurt him first, Steve, or you want me to?
Well, we got the Mets up there. You got Philly, who I'm saying is going to be top division at the end of the month. Listen, if you're able to steal these games from the Mets, Danny, you guys have a fighting chance. I'll be a believer if you guys can take the series.
I just want to point out before you give your take, Kev, it was 4 years ago that the Braves were fighting for 3rd place in their division, and then it got to June and July, and they became the best team in baseball and went on to win the World Series. I just wanted to point that out there. But anyway, is it going to happen? Fuck no. But
I mean, listen, you guys have the talent. It's not a question of talent. With baseball, as we all know, you play so many games. It's about being healthy at the right time. It's about playing your best ball at the right time. And in between that, it's about being consistent and making sure you're putting yourself in a position to be in the playoffs and be healthy, I think obviously getting Acuna back whenever they decide to pull the trigger on that is definitely going to lift the team up a little bit. I mean, how does it not? He's one of the best players in all of baseball. But I think you need Strider back too, to make a serious push for the playoffs and further. You got the Cardinals, who are a surprise team right now. The NL West is very strong. And then obviously in your own division, you have the Mets and the Phillies. So you got 2 teams in the Central, 2 teams in the East that you're competing with, and 4 teams in the West. So, I think they need a little more than just Acuna to be able to ensure that they get a playoff spot.
Yeah, we're going to get Bichette at the trade deadline. I'm telling you, he's going to be an Atlanta Brave. I have a hunch. Everything lines up for them to get Bichette this offseason. I think it's gonna happen. I'm curious. Did you guys see the Alex Anthopoulos interview he did today, where they talked about his free agency decisions? And he said we had a big name contract ready to go and sign, but management did not want to send the salary cap into that second apron with the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Mets were at. They didn't want to pay the taxes on it. And a lot of people are believing that means they had the Max Fried contract ready to go, but ownership said no, which makes it even more annoying seeing how great Cy Young level he's pitching this year.
Right.
But no, I think they're getting hot at the right time. I think they have a better schedule at the end of the year than some of these teams that, once we get into divisional play, they're going to have a lot of games against like the Marlins and the Nats at the end of the season, whereas a lot of these teams like the Diamondbacks and the Giants are going to have to play the Dodgers and each other consistently.
Yeah.
I think they've found their lineup rotation. Drake Baldwin's looking great. Nick Allen has been surprisingly better and has officially taken Arcia's job. It's just, can they find good relief pitching for me? Because I think their starters are set. You have 4 or 5 guys that are good. You have like 2 relief pitchers you can constantly rely on. So I want to see what they do closer to the deadline for that. Going into the last team here for the NL East, Miami. Is Sandy still on the market with how bad he's been playing? I mean, if who's going to take the risk on a Sandy Alcantara trade right now? Kev, you're our pitching expert. So you've been dissecting the advancedness of Sandy and his Latino wife over the last couple of weeks for us. So
I mean, mainly the newborn baby, but yeah, I mean, it's is there value there? I mean, providing the Miami's not asking for the world, right? Like his value has definitely gone down since the beginning of the season. Like teams that might be willing to take a risk on him, in my opinion, could be somebody like Detroit, when you already have 3-4 good pitchers, and maybe you just get them for depth. Maybe something for the playoffs, like as a reliever, or you mix them up with Job near the end of the season, where one of them starts and the other one's in the bullpen that day. I don't think he's worth trying to bring in to be, your third starter or your second starter. Like maybe the Mets, with the way their rotation's been going, they could do something similar to Detroit. Since Montas is he even going to be back? I know they put him on the 60-day DL a while ago, but I don't know what his status is. So the more interesting thing for me with Miami is there anybody going to be calling them for Meyer? Because Meyer's been, for a team that's bad, he's been putting up a lot of strikeouts, and his ERA is not terrible.
Yeah, but are you willing to risk him? Because that's your future.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, what would teams have to offer for them to give him up? Is what
I think. I think you would have to give up a lot bigger of a haul than people would think, because you still have him for like 3 years of team control.
Yeah.
Before he even gets to arbitration.
Right.
Stevie Fast Breaks. Where's Sandy going?
Depending on what they have to give up. I mean, the Cubs need arms. So maybe the Chicago Cubs make a move, but if they're asking for too much, I don't see it really happening. But what Kev says, maybe a team that's already kind of established with their rotation and just kind of need spot starts. You pick up Sandy if you're just, getting in for peanuts, and to kind of go off Kev and this newborn baby. If he goes to a team that's far from his wife, he will he
Go somewhere cold.
might start
Like,
getting.
listen, you don't want to come to Minnesota. It's going to be like
Yeah.
20 degrees on playoff time.
It might work out in his favor where he's just being able to get a good night's sleep and then he's pitching like Sandy again. So that's always a factor. That's overlooked. Something like
Someone
that could happen.
someone said on Twitter, Sandy is desperately needing that West Coast road trip again.
I mean, yeah, man. I mean, if he can get away, maybe that's it. Maybe he's just, new baby threw off his routine, getting ready and stuff, and instead of looking at tape and reading the scouting report and ahead of games, he's just, getting yelled at.
You never help with the baby. I'm the only one that works. I brought home $30 million. What do you want from me?
I'm sure they have a nanny with how much he makes, but
all right. So speaking of the Cubs, we're gonna move on to the Central. You already mentioned Sandy. This is a team that's primed to make some moves at the deadline. They've been bringing up a lot of their prospects, and it almost feels like they're showcasing them if they're not like already planning them for the future. If you're the Cubs, who do you target and who's on the block for you? Like, who do you make available?
I don't hate the idea of them going potentially and trying to get another bat. Maybe Hoskins or McMahon. Provide, somebody else who can hit some bombs and provide a little depth at the infield position. Sandy, I don't like Steve's take on Sandy. I don't think that would be terrible for them. They definitely, I think, need to pick up somebody just as a depth factor. Pitcher, somebody pitching, because Colin Ray, I mean, I like him, but he's not, I guess, consistent in my opinion. Ben Brown can show that he can get strikeouts, but again, I think
he looked bad today.
Yeah, I think you worry about him giving up runs, right? And any start, like he's pretty inconsistent too. Like a lot of bats will miss it, but then like when he misses it, he misses bad, and then ends up doing something like today, right, where he gives up a ton of runs. So I think pitcher depth, somebody who's a legit third starter, because I don't even know how much you like Jameson as your third guy. And Shota's hurt right now. But I think they probably need another bat too. That's what I'm saying. If you bring in Hoskins, maybe Matt Shaw is not playing all that great. So, I mean, maybe you look at McMahon if you want somebody at third base too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So my question for you is, if Chicago calls up the Blue Jays and says, "What will you take for any of your top three arms?" Are you hanging up the phone, or are you trying to work a deal there? Because I think if where they're at contract wise is kind of a weird spot. But I mean, I don't think Bassett goes. I think Gossman's had up and down enough that they might be willing to let him go for a couple prospects or even Berrios.
Yeah, Berrios is interesting to me because he's not pitching all that great this year. At least on his last couple starts. I mean, his home ERA is something like 5, I think. Gossman obviously is the main guy you try to go after. I wouldn't surprise me, I guess is what I'm trying to get at with the Blue Jays, because, yeah, you signed Guerrero, but you haven't signed Bichette yet. So it almost seems like they might blow it up and they just keep Guerrero and then try to build, pieces around him with youth. I mean, you don't really want Scherzer. He's on the IL, and
so yeah.
Well, earlier today I passed an article about Paul Skeens in a possible trade with the Cubs, but pretty much they're saying give up all 10 of their top 10 prospects for Paul Skeens.
I mean, you could do that, but I mean, I think also the Pirates are smart enough to know, like, to not trade
Skins.
their generational talent if they do trade him. I'm not gonna say that because they're fucking stupid. But like I wouldn't put it like I think they're smart enough to know not to trade him in division, where you have to face him at least 2 to 3 times potentially each year.
But 10 top 10 prospects.
So what? So they could sit in AAA. So they could sit in AAA for 6 years.
It's the Pirates, man.
Tamar Johnson's been ready for 2 seasons. He still hasn't played yet.
I don't know, man. I just don't see the Pirates doing smart things.
No one does. But and this is why I think the Blue Jays are a good piece, because you can give up pitching prospects. You can give up outfield prospects because Springer's not getting any younger. He's only got 1 year left on his deal. You could potentially lose Bichette, so getting some kind of infield prospect that can play third or short can really help you. Bassett's on the last year of his deal. Gossman only if you traded for Gossman, you would have him for team control in 2026, meaning your rotation would include Justin Steele, Imanaga, Kevin Gossman, and wherever their back end of their rotation looks like. That's a great starting 3. I think I'm more willing to risk going for Bassett and trying to get him to resign because Gossman gives up too many fly balls for Wrigley Field. Like that would just be too ugly for me. But I think if I'm Chicago, that I'm asking to see where they are with Bassett and Gossman.
I don't hate that. I just think the Blue Jays probably ask a lot for him, though. It's just, are you willing to give it up to try to win now?
And that's the thing. That's why I was thinking like Bassett's the perfect one, because that'd be $22 million off the books next year. You can prove to Kyle Tucker that you're willing to spend the money to compete, and you can still put together a super competitive roster. Yeah, that's just where I'm at with them.
Yeah.
Wow, as the Cubs got walked off. So moving on here to the next team, we got Cincy. As Cincy is current. God, the Twins are in another rain delay.
Yeah, they're in another fucking rain delay.
They played 1 inning. They literally played 4 outs, and then they went right back to a rain delay.
No way Logan Allen's coming back now, which is really going to piss me off.
Yeah. Reds are currently sitting in 3rd place in the division, sitting at 500, 4 games out of 1st place. What if you're Francona? What needs to be addressed on the roster to make that push for the wild card or even the divisional push? Because I think at this point, if you're in the Central, you're trying to get the division. You're not even looking at the wild card.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, I don't know if there'll be buyers, honestly. I mean, you're hovering around 500. I don't know if they're going to trade for anybody. I think you kind of look internally, get Green back healthy, get that back for your rotation. And if Steer and McLean can start to hit better, which, they shouldn't continue their slumps. Slumps are supposed to end, at least. So I think if they can look internally and get some more hitting and get Green back healthy and, bolster that rotation, maybe they can fight for the division. I don't know if it's worth a trade if you're a team that's hovering around 500.
Maybe a potential move and getting some outfield depth, picking up a bat. I mean, looking at like a team like the Angels, I think the Angels will move on from Taylor Ward.
I think that's where I'm at. I don't hate that. I think they might look more towards Renifo, because Taylor Ward has still some years left on his contract. But Renifo's going to be a free agent next year regardless. So, 2 or 3 prospects that are probably not going to be on your team for the next year or two. Let's see. Yeah, Taylor Ward is even one more year of arbitration, and then he's a free agent. So I don't think they're going to be willing to let him go versus someone like Renifo is going to be a free agent. Might as well, try to get like one or two prospects back for him. Mike Trout probably will go in that trade as well as just to add in for filler, as a player to be named later. I'm with. I think they need I think the team's just missing a veteran. Because I look at the team and everyone just looks like they could potentially all get sent down to AAA at any point.
Yeah,
and I think if you want to make that step, you gotta get a vet or two in the field, not just pitching wise. Yeah. I think their rotation their pitching is going to be fine. I don't think it would hurt to have an extra arm, so you're not pitching all these young guys when he gets closer to the end of the season. But that's me. I think one or two veterans for some prospects would be the move. Moving on to the Brew Crew. The Brewers are struggling this month and have the third toughest schedule in the month of June. It's looking more and more each day like the Brewers are most likely not going to be in the playoff race this year. Is it time to sell and retool, or do you stick with what you got?
So pretty much we agree that probably they're not going to make the playoffs this year. Looking forward, do you move on from Freddie Peralta? Do you trade him? I have no idea what his contract situation is, so I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm on it. Let me see.
Perfect.
I don't think Peralta, because I think Peralta is your guy. He's the fan favorite. He's the one that everyone wants to go see. Even though he just throws fastballs down the middle all day. He is a team option for next year.
So if it's not looking good for them next year, at that point, they're looking towards the future, right? So, I don't know who would trade for him. I would imagine they would ask for a lot for Freddie. And obviously the Cubs can't really get on because that's a division foe, and you're not going to trade him to
Craig Counsell played the long game. That's what it was.
Yeah, I think it's time to sell. Try to get some more pieces around Turang and Churio. Even Free looks still kind of young. I think you try to keep Peralta, but the rest of your starting pitching right now is on IL. It's like,
yeah, I was gonna say your other. Here's your arms you're looking at trading. Savale hurt, Nestor Cortez hurt and bad. Brandon Woodruff has not been healthy for 3 years.
Right.
Aaron Ashby, there's not much there to go after, but
yeah, I think Hoskins could provide value for somebody. The big question is, if you are going to be sellers and maybe you feel like you were saying, you try to trade Yelich and see what you can get for him.
Is someone going to take on that
massive contract?
4-year, $80 million he still has left?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Well, that's peanuts in the MLB. Right.
He's also not playing well this year, so that hurts what we're going to get back for him.
Yeah.
So they should be sellers, but we're not sure on what the hell they're going to sell.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like they're young and like their veterans need to go, but then if you trade them, you're just like going into White Sox territory where it's just like, who the fuck are you putting out there every day?
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of teams who don't know what they're doing, the Pittsburgh Pirates. I couldn't even think of a question for them. What do you do at this point? Like, you're not playing your prospects. The guys you're bringing in are clearly not ready or there. Every one of your key offensive bats looks like if they don't hit the ball 450, they're going to hit it 2 feet in front of the plate or strike out. What do you do if you're intending on keeping Skeens for as long as you can to get the monetary value you're going to get out of him over the next 5-6 years? What do you? Because I think that's their strategy. Is they're just going to wait till he gets to like arbitration, and they're going to milk the 5 years of renewal where they can only pay him like $800K a year, and then they're going to be like, oh, now you want $50 million? Okay, cool. You're someone else's problem.
Have fun signing for.
Have fun being Nimsy's favorite player. Like what do you do at this point? Where if you're the GM and you got to answer to Bob Dunning, where do you go from here?
Man, business as usual, man. We're gonna be bad. Like I guarantee that's how their meetings go. Like, yeah, man. So what does it look like? Well, Paul's cool. We got yeah, we're just gonna just make sure we're on national television every time Paul's pitching, and there you go.
Hey, we got 4 players who all the fans are ready to see come up to the pros. Are they ready? Not only are they ready, they're hurt.
Yeah.
Jared Jones, who? Bubba Chandler, fuck him.
Bubba Ch. I didn't know Bubba was hurt.
He's been hurt.
Oh,
like they've been limiting his innings. Like they're not keeping him at AAA.
Oh my god.
No.
Yeah, you know what? How about the Cubs just go after Bubba, man? Just like
be like, hey, we'll give you 4 of our top 50 prospects, 50, 49, 48, 47. Give us Bubba Chandler.
Yeah.
Give us Braxton Ashcraft. Give us Jared Jones if you're not going to pitch him.
Right. Like move. You know what? That's actually somebody needs to go after Bubba, man. He throws 100 too, right?
Yeah, dude, their potential rotation in 2027 is going to be Skeens, Jared Jones, Bubba Chandler. You have 300-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Yeah, if I was a team, like go back to like bringing up. Oh well, they're not going to trade within a division though. See, that's
what I'm saying. Like that's the thing is all the teams that could use them.
You know what? The Nats could do a really cool thing, man. And you know what? If they don't want to trade
Mackenzie Gore for Bubba Chandler.
No. If give up some prospects, put Bubba in the bullpen. You know what I'm saying? Just let him get a couple of innings, some of that the show innings. You know what I mean? Get some experience, and then move him to the starting rotation.
Move him to a different team where he'll pitch 7 innings and get a no decision because his bullpen blows it. There we go.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. But you know what?
Be like, listen, you could have been doing this.
We'll have an awesome rotation, man.
Yeah. We'll be like, listen, Bubba, you could have been doing this in Pittsburgh where it's cheaper to live. Now you got to do it in DC.
Right.
Where you're always going to be on red alert.
Yeah, exactly.
You like the serene calmness of the suburbs of Pittsburgh? Nope. You got to deal with tourists.
They got those nice condos right next to the stadium he can have.
Over in Navy Yard, he's still spending 1.5 mil for a damn apartment, man.
Don't even talk to me about apartments. We just closed on ours, and the amount of money we just spent is like disgusting.
Might as well should have bought a house in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I told Cal how much we spent just to put the down payment on, or like our deposit on the apartment. He was like, "That's 6 months rent where I live," and I was like, "Shut the fuck up! No one wants to live in Iowa." It's like maybe I should because I don't leave the house, so it's not like I'm missing anything.
Flat, nothing else going on.
Yeah.
Might as well go to that.
He saw a mountain. He saw 2 hills last week. He cried. All right, so moving on to the last team here in the Central, St. Louis Cardinals. Can they keep this momentum? Or for a team that everyone was talking about them blowing up the team and trading at the deadline or trading in the offseason, they're playing great. Are you a buyer or a seller at the deadline if you're the Cardinals?
I think neither, personally. I think you weren't expecting this. Just hold on to what you got, see what they can do, and then maybe get a piece or two in the offseason.
So you're saying stick with Arenado?
Yeah.
What you got on the cards?
Pulling up my notes. I saw reading. They have some prospects they could possibly deal, but if that's the case, I'm with Kev, man. Stick with what you have right now. See how it goes. Especially if you were, expectations weren't high for this year, so who knows? You might have struck gold and then assess at the end of the season.
I was gonna say, if you're St. Louis, are you willing to trade with Miami again? Every prospect they trade to Miami turns into superstars. Sandy, Ozuna, like if I'm St. Louis or Arizona, I'm not trading with Miami anymore. Yeah, I'm with you, Kev. I think they just stay put.
You could move, try to get some pitching, try to move Eric out of there, move on from Eddie, from Eric Fetty.
Yeah, I see him going. When I'm saying like stay put, I'm meaning like you're not going to see like, oh, Arenado and Contreras are gone, and we're going to see 3 AA players moving up to the pros to play first and third for the next 2 months. Right. I think Fetty's gone. Yeah, they'll probably go after Kyle Gibson again.
No, there's no way.
Rest in peace to Kyle Gibson's career.
Yeah, he's done.
And we got the West. We're going on to the West here. I know we probably all have a lot of the same comments on the West here, so we'll try to go through this one a little quicker. Diamondbacks, toughest remaining schedule in division post All-Star break. Can they stay as hot as they are? Can they make the wild card? They are currently 4th place in the division with a record of, why did that refresh on me? Piece of shit app. With a record of 25-22, they are currently 4th place in the division. And for reference, if they were in the Central Division, they would be number 2 right now. If they were in the American League East, they would be in 2nd place by 3 games. They're currently in 4th place. Can they keep this up and bank on fall apart from either the Padres or the Giants?
Probably address the bullpen if they want to continue, to even get to the wild card spot. If they do that, then I think they're serious about trying to make a push. That's all I have to say about that.
You forgot to hit your button to send it back to the studio.
Over to you, Kev.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can always use bullpen help for any of these teams. I think the Giants are going to slip a little bit. Unless they end up going out and getting somebody to help them, but I just don't see their starting pitchers being able to succeed in the long haul. So I think the Diamondbacks will probably take that spot. I think they're more well-rounded. Gurriel needs to hit better. He's currently in a pretty bad slump so far in this first 2 months, but I think they'll be fine. I also don't hate and potentially going out in kind of what we were talking about with like the Cubs or the Tigers and getting somebody to place Rodriguez as your fourth guy, maybe like Severino, or although the A's just signed him, but somebody like that, somebody who's not necessarily an ace but can help bolster that starting rotation a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think I'm with you. I think they're like one piece in the bullpen away from moving up to that next level. Next, we got the Rockies. There's nothing to talk about with this team. They're 8-32. Who are we going to see shipped out? Rumors have been about McMahon in the offseason being moved. Nothing about in season from what I've seen. Besides McMahon, who else could we see on the move this season?
I mean, who do they have that other people want?
Could
Brent Doyle,
you think Carl Freeman could help the team out?
Here's my take on Kyle Freeland. I don't think any team is going to take a risk on him because are your stats the way they are because that you're in Colorado, or are you just that bad? You know what I mean? Like that's the problem with these guys that play their whole career in Colorado is like you can't tell if it's like is their ERA in the fives because they play in the most hitter-friendly ballpark in the country, or is it because they're actually not that good?
Right.
I feel so bad for Chase Dollander that he has to go pitch for that team because you have one of the best pitching prospects in baseball, and he's just getting fastballs sent over the wall, not even his fault.
Yeah, if you're ever a pitching prospect who gets drafted, you hope that Colorado doesn't take you.
I just want to know how much money they offered him for a signing bonus to make him not just be like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to college and try again next year.
Hey, it's your dream to play in the big leagues, man. But yeah, in hindsight, he probably been like,
I was gonna say, if your MLB The Show character gets drafted to the Rockies, are you restarting the file, Steve?
Yeah, most likely. But I mean, like I like to make closers for the MLB The Show, so
Man, I have the greatest.
I still haven't bought it since 2003 because I was pissed how I was treated by the Texas Rangers, and I had 50 saves on the season. I was amazing. We make it to the World Series. You know what? You think they pitched me in the World Series? Not once. Not once. Right? We won one game, right? We lost 4-1 overall, but didn't pitch me once. So I was, have beat this game.
Lydia's retired from Road to the Show because she's hitting 497 and she still can't get out of AAA. I'm not joking. She's in like her second year in AAA. She's in June of the season. She's got 18 home runs and hitting 497 through 40 games. And and she's on who was it? She's on the Guardians, so they don't have she's a second baseman, so they don't have like a superstar second baseman. She cannot get called up to save her life. It's so funny. Moving on to the Dodgers. This actually goes into a question that Lydia asked me today. What do you do with this rotation? What needs to be done? Because the offense is looking great. This rotation is looking like it's going to be an issue for the rest of the year.
Is Ohtani starting to pitch?
They said he will not touch the mound even for simulated games until after the All-Star break. So if he pitches, it's not going to be till August, and they're probably going to pitch him once every 2 weeks.
That might be what I would lean on almost I know their guys are getting back healthy, right? I know
Snell just got sent to 60-day IL.
So actually, no, that actually puts them. They need to address that pitching situation, man.
Because right now your pitching rotation is Sasaki, Yamamoto, Landon Knack, Tony Gonsolin, Clayton Kershaw, and Dustin May. It's pretty much a lost season for Snell because by the time he gets, like we saw the Giants, he didn't get into rhythm till 3 months into the season. You're not going to get into rhythm until past October at this point because you're not going to come back until you're not going to be off the IL till July. By the time you finish rehab starts, it's going to be August, and then you're going to get like 2, 3, maybe 4 starts the rest of the season.
Yeah, all I can think of is maybe pitching but I don't know who. Let's be realistic. I'm not going to think like, oh, just because they're the Dodgers, they're going to be able to pull anybody.
Let's be real, they can. they have the best prospect for in the system.
Now, if the Dodgers approach Pittsburgh and offer a shit ton of prospects,
I'm kidnapping Bob Nutting myself and holding him for ransom if that happens.
They're not trading Skeens, not yet.
Like I said, if they trade him, it's not going to be till they get to arbitration because they have 3 more years of renewal.
He deserves better. I'm tired of
this. He does, but it's not in his hands anymore.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What happens when you get drafted? It's like Chase Dollander too. Like
he has 3 more years that they can just renew his contract at what he's getting paid now. Then he goes to arbitration, and they can offer him a contract, or they could say, "Oh, give us an offer. We'll give you an offer, and we'll let the arbitration figure it out." And they could do that for 3 more years and just pay him whatever and waste 7 years of his career. And they'll probably do it. Dude, when the last Pittsburgh game we went to, I'm not joking. You know how like you go to a Braves game, you'll see like Chipper jerseys still. You'll see like Dale Murphy jersey, Hank, Maddox, Smoke. Like you'll see like a variety of jerseys. When we went to the Pirates game, I'm not joking. I did not see a single jersey outside of Clemente, Skeens, and McCutchen. I didn't see an O'Neal Cruz. I didn't see a Brian Reynolds. I saw one Isaiah Kiner Falefa, and I was like, that's my favorite person. I was like, I fuck with that dude. He knows ball.
He said nothing but Roberto.
I'm pulling up in my Carmen Mlodzinski jersey next game. Let them know I know ball.
Paul Skeen and Andrew McCutchen.
Pulling up in my Bailey Falter jersey.
Yeah, I don't know what. I have no idea.
Probably get somebody. It's just we don't know who they're going after.
You think Sandy will revive his career out of nowhere? Just like, hey,
I think they'll take a risk on him because it's not any worse than what they're getting now.
Right.
And if it works out, you're going to have 1 extra year where you're going to have not only already the greatest pitching staff, but then you add into it a one guy who can consistently go over 100 pitches.
Right.
Because that's their thing. They pitched a relief pitcher 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
Because their pitching is so bad right now.
Yeah, or hurt. It's just and they're in first place. So they could do nothing and still make the playoffs, or they go get somebody. Maybe they trade the whole lot for Max Meyer, right?
Trade Shohei, Mookie Betts, get Max Meyer, World Series contender.
They trade their top 5 prospects for him.
Send Freddie back to Atlanta.
and then in 7 years, they'll trade for those guys again. They'll bring them back once they're good.
No sign $100 gazillion dollar contract for 7 years, and they all defer to the last 3 years.
They've already signed Max Meyer to a contract that's an unquantifiable number, and it's being deferred to his great-great-grandchildren in 2075.
Right. Like, yeah, man, no. Just pay me later.
They're affirming it. Never seen a team do affirm for a contract.
Just pay me later. All right.
And so this next one, we can do it for both the Padres and the Giants. What needs to be done to secure that playoff spot or to take over the first place spot from the Dodgers?
I don't think the Giants have enough, personally. as we were talking about earlier. I think the Diamondbacks take their spot. I mean, they need more than just a little bit, in my opinion. I mean, outside of Logan Webb, I mean, Robbie Ray's decent, but Verlander's a shell of himself. Rope is okay. They're bullpen, nothing to send home about. I mean, Flores is what, or is it Flores or Adames who's leading the league in RBIs? I can't remember now. But,
Flores.
So you got a guy who's leading the league in RBIs, but overall, you're not really hitting all that great for average, which, I don't know. I think they're playing better than expected, and they're going to drop. The Padres, I think, have the better shot. I don't fully know what they need because their starting rotation is fine. At least the top three guys. Pavetta's, I know, struggling a little bit with control and giving up runs, but and then your bats, you have a lineup. Do you trade for like Luis Roberts that gives you some depth in the outfield because Hayward's old? Allow Tatis to hit DH every once in a while. I don't know. I just don't know what you do with them.
Yeah, I think they're a dark horse for Robert. Stevie Fast Breaks. What do we got?
Doing my research for your questions, man. I mean, I see rumors popping up about Brent Rooker, which is outrageous to me since they just pay him a lot of money or with the Northern California.
Like a 6-year contract, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like their team now, but I don't know. A bat they could trade for right now.
Yeah, I think
in the Giants, I mean, I don't see them making any crazy moves in this position to try to set themselves up. I think I agree with you guys thinking that they're gonna fall off.
Yeah, I think Posey's using this year as okay, we know we can compete, but who can't compete down the stretch? Like who slows down so then they know how to assess the team next year.
Right.
Yeah, so let's move into American League here. There wasn't much to talk about American League wise because I think most of the teams are pretty set in stone. I mean, all right, so first one here is Baltimore. Who's on the trade block? Because some people are going to be moved this year. Obviously, I think their core is still there, but who gets moved? Do you trade pieces or do you just take the L this year, try to see what you can assess this year and go into next year stronger?
Well, first you're going to have to get a new manager. So that's what makes me think they're not going to make any crazy moves. Being in the situation they're at. But I mean, manager aside, they got to do something with this bullpen, man. Like they gotta do
pitching in general.
Just they gotta do something. So if they make a move for anything, I mean, as far as bats they could trade, maybe Ryan Mountcastle with some prospects for a pitcher, get a reliever and a starter maybe. But other than pitching, but like I said, they don't have a manager, so I don't know if they make that investment right now.
Yeah, I think they just take their lumps, try to play kind of the spoiler role, get as many wins as you can, maybe knock down the Yankees and the Red Sox a little bit, and then start over next year. And hopefully they actually spend some money on some pitching. and obviously re-sign Henderson and Rutschman, or extend them, I should say.
Allie's gonna be a
Yankee. What you mean?
Yeah,
don't worry. They're getting DJ LeMahieu and fucking Devin Williams.
Yeah.
Throwing Volpe in that one, it's a deal.
Nah, it's too good of an offer.
Yeah, no,
I wonder if Nims is watching this and being like, you know what, fuck you guys. Like,
it'll be Henderson.
He ain't watching this.
Henderson and Rutschman for Volpe,
So-
LeMahieu, and Stroman.
Here's the thing. So I'm looking at their contracts now. Almost every pitcher on their roster, on their active 40-man roster, is either going to be, 2 of them will be in arbitration. Actually, I lied. 3 of them will be in arbitration. The rest will be unrestricted free agents. Everyone was on a 1-year or a 2-year deal. So you're going to have the cap space there because you're not going to have Eflin's $18 million. You're not going to have the $15 million you gave Charlie Morton for some reason. You don't have Kyle Gibson on the books, and you're not going to have Trevor Rogers on the books. I think Mountcastle or O'Hearn is gone, in my opinion. I think it's just because you have so many players that are already ready. I think O'Hearn will stay because I think they like having him in there. But there's so many teams that could use a first baseman that Mountcastle's value is just going to be high enough to get you a couple more prospects.
Right.
Which
they're going to be sellers, is what you're predicting.
I don't think they're going to be like full sellers, but I think there's going to be some pieces that are going to go into arbitration in this upcoming offseason that they could just go ahead and get the value now instead of risking like potential tank in the back half of the season. And I think Mountcastle is going to the team we're going to talk about next. The New York – no, I'm kidding. The Boston Red Sox. What's your answer to the first base problem? I think it's Ryan Mountcastle. You have plenty of prospects. You have plenty of pitching prospects that you can maneuver and move. I think they definitely will need to go after some pitching if they want to compete for this wild card or to compete in the division, because you have 2 solid pitchers and then everything else is just dookie. So I think you got to go after some pitching. I think if you're instead of doing this whole bullshit of maybe Rafi will turn his mind around when he sees the fans will support him. No, just go get a first baseman. You can literally, I think Casas is also in arbitration next year. You can literally go get someone like Mountcastle.
Is Casas out for the season?
Yeah. Dude, did you not see the injury? He tried to run to first on a torn meniscus.
No, I didn't.
His whole knee's like gone. Yeah, you have some crappy contracts in there.
I mean, when I was looking up some stuff from your question, I mean, Isaac Paredes was like one of the names that were popping up as a potential target. But yeah, I mean, Mountcastle makes a lot of sense though.
You can, if you don't like, I mean, Casas is probably not going to be fully ready to go next year. So having someone like Mountcastle gives you a first baseman that you can, if you feel like Casas will not be ready to start the season, you can easily put him on, or you can do it you have 1 more year with arbitration. If you think Casas is ready, you could retrade him for something. I mean, I think that's the move. I think Hoskins also, if you think Casas will be ready next year, go for Hoskins. You're telling me a guy who pole hits into the green monster isn't going to be absolutely dominant. I think he's going to be big for them. I think you got to target one of those 2 if you're Boston. You got to find a way to get one of those 2. Get rid of, a couple of these like fielders that have shown they can play in the pros. Get a couple prospects. Give up a couple pitching prospects. I think they can legitimately make a playoff case if they go get a Castle or a Hoskins. But where are you guys at?
Yeah, I like both of those ideas, honestly. With Casas out, we all know Devers isn't gonna. He's not gonna do anything you tell him to do. So,
It's such a weird situation. Like, is he just?
yeah.
I mean, I kind of get it. I mean, think about it. They sign you to a major contract. You're the future of the team at first base. They don't even say, "Hey, we're thinking about bringing in this other third baseman who's really good and a better defensive one and can up our game. Would you be willing to move to first base or to DH?" They didn't have the conversation with him beforehand. I think this whole thing goes over differently if they involved him in the process.
Yeah.
But so are they buying or are they holding, in your opinion?
I think they're at the buy that first base situation.
All right, anything else on the Sox before we move on? All right, this one actually comes from a listener and a good buddy of mine who is a Yankees fan, but he's not crazy. He actually gives realistic trade options. Did y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something dropped.
Let you drop something.
No, that came from upstairs.
I'm telling you to be quiet. You're being too loud.
I can suck my dick. We're moving anyway. All right, so the Yankees. So this was a fan question. When Stanton returns, how do you include Ben Rice in this lineup? Do you move him to third? Do you rotate him at first and catching and DHing? How do you involve one of their best young bats in this lineup when their DH comes back?
I thought he was first baseman catcher. I didn't know he played third.
There's a rumor they've been wanting to get him to go to third base.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't he play some outfield too, or no?
I'm sure he could probably play left or right if need be.
I think you just platoon him, honestly. You're not going to leave Stanton hanging, right?
No.
He's going to be your DH, so I think you just platoon him for when you need somebody else outside of Goldschmidt or whoever it is that day, right? Whoever needs a rest that day, you kind of find a way to get him in.
Yeah, you got to find out how to get him on the field, man. I mean, Kev seems like the best scenario that would work out for him. Unless you just say F Stanton, but
Yeah,
you can't, especially when he's like been your best playoff performer for the last 3 years. Yeah. Moving on to the Rays and the Blue Jays. This will be a two-part. This will be one for both of these teams, and then a second question for the Blue Jays. Who's on the trading block? Who stays? And for the Blue Jays, what can you do to make Bichette want to stay?
For the Rays, I think teams will probably try to go after Baz, probably Lowe, and maybe Diaz. But I definitely think Baz, one of these teams will try to pick up Baz, kind of bolster your rotation. A guy you can throw in the playoffs as a bullpen, middle reliever type guy. As far as keeping Bichette, I think we already talked about it a little bit, is that your starting pitching is so kind of mediocre. I don't know. Like, you'd have to pick up so many pieces, and I don't think they're going to do that. So I don't think there is a way unless Vlad and him are close and Vlad's like, no, stay, man, help me out, stay. I think that's Vlad's kind of the only persuasion I can see.
So what I'm hearing is Bichette will be a Brave in 2026. Good. Noted.
So they're 5 games back from the division. I'm talking about the Blue Jays. Under 500. I mean, you can make an argument for a team to come in and try to get Bichette. I have no idea what they're going to do.
It's kind of like Henderson and Rutschman. Like, why hasn't he been re-signed already? That division and those teams, I don't understand. But especially since Vlad just set the market at the beginning of the year, like why aren't some of these players getting re-signed?
That's fair. I think Schneider's gone at the end of this season, and that's going to be their we'll bring in a new manager that you both like. But I think Bichette's gone. I think there's going to be too many teams that are going to be willing to pay him the same amount the Blue Jays will and say, okay, but you can for sure compete for a playoff spot and not be stuck in this maybe they will, maybe they won't every year. For the Rays, Ha-Seong Kim, I think is going to be gone because they didn't need him. But when I looked at that contract and I saw it was like 2 years, $8 million, I was like, that looks like a very tradable contract. Like a very team-friendly contract if you want a prospect. So will he be a Dodger? Probably. But I think he's gone. I think you're right. I think Baz might be gone. I would love to see Brandon Lau play somewhere else. I mean, even if it is a Yankee, I think he has a lot of value, and a lot of teams are going to be targeting him this year. All right, so that's it for the AL East. We got 10 more teams to go. Try to see if we can get through these pretty quickly. White Sox, is anyone tradable, or are you just stuck in grossness for another year or two?
And for the most part, you're stuck. I think you can get some value for Robert. I kind of like Shane Smith. I just don't know really how much you're going to get for him. But Robert's really your only piece.
What do we got, Steve?
Yeah, White Sox, I kind of skipped that one, man. There's not much for that team.
Double it and pass it to the next person.
Yep. There's nothing. Luis Roberts Jr., like Kev already mentioned. I mean, other than that,
yeah, I don't see a way he stays. Cleveland, your starting pitching has been an issue for 2 years. You're starting to lose grip on your division. Are you trading? Are you holding? What are you doing to finish off this year to help your team out?
I think there might be buyers at the trade deadline. Try to get another pitcher. Like you said, the pitching, especially starting pitching, is not that great. But I could also see them holding because honestly, the Royals are playing a little better. I think the Rangers will start to figure it out. So, they may end up losing these wild card spots. The Red Sox might be in there as well. And obviously the Tigers are just, I think we all can agree that they're probably just going to pull away from that division. They're playing this well, and guys like Flaherty and Green aren't even doing all that well. So imagine when Riley Green starts hitting and Flaherty starts pitching better. I mean, the Tigers are just going to pull away. So I could see them just holding and trying to figure it out, but also wouldn't surprise me if they try to pick up another starter.
Yeah, I'm with you, Kev, on that one. I mean, maybe looking to pick up a utility player, maybe another bat for the lineup. Something they would need, but you got to address the pitching, man. Like Danny said, they haven't had pitching for 2 years now.
Yeah, they re-signed Shane Bieber. I don't even think he's in like a rehab assignment still.
Yeah.
I mean, they did more with less last year too, right? They did pretty good near the end of the season. Maybe they're banking on that happening again. Maybe they're hoping on the race again. But
that's the thing. I feel like teams have that 1 year where something like that works, and they think, "Oh, if it ain't broke, don't fix it." Like, you know, with the Braves, I've been bitching all since we started doing the show about how their rotation, like they should have been aggressive going after pitching in free agency. And it's like, okay, well, last year we ran a 3.5 man rotation, and then we just called up a different player every 6 days. And you know, they did that 2 years ago and won 97 games. Okay, cool. Well, it doesn't work the next year. And the next year, like, it worked when you were pitching nothing but rookies no one had seen before. And now everyone has tape on your players.
right.
And your players weren't doing good. And then, you know, it ultimately led to a pitcher who hadn't pitched in 4 months getting to start game 5 of a divisional or the wild card, or game 3 of the wild card, and got torched.
Yeah.
That being said, I actually forgot Reynaldo Lopez was on our team until I just thought about it right now. So we have that's how weird our pitching situation is I forgot Reynaldo Lopez was here. So moving on to Detroit. What move do the Tigers need to make a move to put them into contender status, or are they already there?
I think they're already there, personally. I mean, I just talked about it. I think once Flaherty starts pitching better and Green starts hitting better, they're going to take off some more, and they'll probably try to get another bat. Maybe they try to go after Hoskins, or maybe they go after Sandy, because they don't really need necessarily another ace. But you can always bring in somebody to kind of bolster the back end, or potentially bring in as a reliever during the playoffs, right? So, you know, maybe you pick up somebody like that, or maybe they do go after an ace. I just don't know who that ace would be at the moment. But
Paul Skeens.
Yeah, I think they definitely go after a bat and a pitcher, honestly.
I'm gonna bring up Paul Skeens every trade. Yeah, so they probably have about prospects they could give up for Paul Skeens. You know, Sandy makes a lot of sense. Cold later on in the season, be away from the wife. I'm saying, listen. If Sandy,
I like how we're not even talking about Sandy needing a break away from the team. It's just like Sandy needs to get away from his wife.
If Sandy lands in the cold spot, we all listen. All three of us here, we know why. All right, that is going to confirm the theory that I have that he just needs to get away, and he's about to be back to Sandy of 2 years ago.
I'm gonna check something real quick, just for fun. Oh, never mind. It's actually way worse. Sandy's home ERA is 5.74. We'll play a little Price is Right here. Who can guess his road ERA this season?
You make me go against the K King here.
He's the K King, not the ERA King.
Not the ERA. I don't know anything about ERAs.
He's in his ERA era.
I really like that song by Taylor Swift. She's really killing it.
Steve's polling well with the white women on the show.
Yeah, man. Love me some Sabrina Carpenter.
That's that countless thing. His wife picked up his phone and said, Johnny behind the gas station will do the Sabrina Carpenter Fortnite emotes for $20. And she said, what the fuck does that mean? right, what's his road ERA?
If his home is over 5, you said never mind. It's got to be either. His road ERA has got to be like 4.5, 4.5.
Well, no, I think he was saying that it was a lot worse than he.
So you think it might be a 6? 6.7?
I mean, yeah, that's what he made. That's what Danny made it sound like.
So that's your guess, 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll stay. Yeah, we'll say 6.
You guys were off by a lot.
Okay.
His road ERA this season is 14.81.
All right, so maybe getting away from the wife is a bad theory.
She's following him.
Right. Are you coming home to the baby?
Keeping him up at night. Every time the baby's up, she's calling him.
Fun little fact here. If he was a hitter, he would have the 4th highest OPS in baseball right now.
Yeah, that's not good.
Actually, no, I lied. He would have the 2nd highest. His OPS is 1.124.
So I mean, really, what you're doing is you're trading for what he could or what he once was.
Yeah.
Not even trading. Like you're hoping that he goes back to what he was when you.
Exactly.
So you traded him for a box of towels,
basically.
And yeah, like I'm not giving Miami anything for Sandy.
Yeah. We'll pay for your ice cream and the helmet souvenirs for Sandy.
All right, so moving on, last 2 in the Central, and then we'll try to kick through the West quick. Kansas City, does Witt have a chance at MVP this year?
I mean, it's not like he's having a terrible season. Like he's hitting over 300, isn't he? Or is he right at 300?
He's over 300.
It's just Judge is playing outside of his mind right now. I mean, Judge has to come down to earth for Witt to have any shot. And then Witt also needs to hit some home runs. I think he only has, 5 so far in the year?
Mm-hmm.
So he needs to show some more power. And Judge needs to not be playing outside of his mind.
To not play in Yankee Stadium for 81 games.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's definitely got a shot, but I think it's not looking good at the moment.
What are his odds?
Oh, let's look that up. I'm looking that up right now.
I mean, it's got to be over 1,000 at least.
Because I mean,
all right. So the AL MVP, Bobby Witt is. So I'm gonna read you the top 5 in 5th place for going from 5th to 1. Right. Cal Raleigh is 5th in odds for MVP at plus 8,000.
Yeah.
Gunner is 4th at 77.40. 3rd is Bregman at 5,000. Witt is 2nd at plus 1,300.
That was about right.
And 1st is Judge at minus 2,500.
Right.
To put it into reference, to find a player that is at the same odds as Bobby Witt in the NL, you're looking at Freddie Freeman, who is currently 7th in MVP odds.
Yeah.
Listen, if Kansas City has a hell of a June and he's hitting 390, because what Judge is hitting like 4 something, right?
Yeah. Here's how crazy Judge is like weighted on base averages. So when I look through my bets, I always look through like what pitch, like how they're like weighted on bases per pitch. And if it's red, it means it's below their season long average, right? Judge's weighted on base average for fastballs was in the red, and it was still 497. That is video game numbers. It's just ridiculous. And I hate it. I hate that he's a Yankee this was any other team but the Yankees and Dodgers, I wouldn't give a shit. I would talk about how great it is. I'm so tired of the Yankees. I live 15 minutes from Yankee Stadium. It's annoying.
I mean, yeah, Judge is on pace to win the Triple Crown. If he does that, it's his MVP.
I believe in Bobby.
Bobby's a great player.
Someone on Twitter said Bobby Witt is the greatest player to net will go down as one of the greatest players to never win an MVP, not because he just wasn't that good. It's because he had to go against Aaron Judge for his entire career.
Yeah.
All right, so one more here in the Central. Minnesota, their game was postponed today, suspended. So I think your bet voids there, Kev.
Yeah, thank God.
Mine too, thank God. They have, if they had won today, it would have been 14 of their last 15 games. They were on a 13-game winning streak. The injury bug is finally hit. We talked about it at the beginning of the year. They always play good until the injury bug hits. Is this year different? Can they keep this up? Or are they looking at this is the slow downfall of the team?
I mean, both Correa and Buxton are hurt, right?
Both on concussion protocol.
Yeah. Like, I don't. Those are your two best hitters. I don't think you can survive again. Like, we've seen it over the last couple of years. When those guys go down, this Twins team is just a shell of themselves. I don't see them surviving unless those guys can actually come back healthy for once.
Yeah, I don't know what they can do, man. Like, I'm ready to move on.
All right, so we'll do rapid fire here for the West. I know Steve's tired.
Steve's tired. Blame me. All right.
I'm tired too, but it's easier to blame you than myself. Rule number one of deflections and like self-hatred: deflect. Astros.
Blaming the.
Can they take over this division? Yay or nay?
No.
Nah, man. You got the Angels right there, man. No.
I think it's funny too that I'm running out of energy with these because I made the Angels like the West questions when it was like 8:00 at night. And I was so done with this. And I was like, you know what? I'm putting the first thing comes in my fucking head. I was like, I'm not even looking up stats no more. I was like, fuck this. This is what we're getting. Can this team win with the Los Angeles Angels? Can this team win 70 games this year?
Well, from fantastic reporting from Lydia. With return of Mike Trout, 70 games is a possibility. Breaking news from Lydia.
Yeah, I don't think they get
Our
there.
favorite teacher on the show. She's a favorite teacher on the show.
Don't tell Don that he's gonna flip shit.
I don't know. Don's not here.
Don's gonna come on and be like, yo, I heard you fucking talking shit about me.
Hey, man. Stab your friends in the chest, not the back.
All right. Athletics. Does this team have the talent to go 500 this year? And go 81 and win at least 81 games?
If they win all their games on the road, absolutely.
As long as they keep winning on the road, yeah. This is another one I don't see. I mean, I think it might be closer than the Angels, obviously. I think they'll win over 70, but I don't think so.
Yeah, you asked me this a month ago, I would have said yes. Now,
I was going to say, are we getting a 2024 Pittsburgh Pirates here with Oakland? Started out looking great. Offense was flying, and then it started to slow down.
Right. We didn't even get that from the Pirates this year. I'm kind of disappointed in that.
Dude, I was so mad. I was like, oh, they're playing Miami again. Paul Scenes. I was like, oh, they're so ready. They got fucking swept.
They're about to lose only 2 games the first month of baseball, and then, yeah. ready for the fall off. But I mean, nah, man. I think the Northern California Athletics will be the California Athletics at the end of the day. So below
The owner would be like,
below 500, 70 plus wins.
The Rangers, do they need to be buyers at the deadline? Yay or nay?
Hold on. 3 games back from the Mariners. Seeing at 25 and 23, playing well at home.
I don't think they need to be buyers. I think Leiter will get better as a pitcher, and then, I'm still a believer in Berger. Hopefully, he can get there with his home runs and start hitting better. If Semien starts hitting better too, so I think you look internally with this team. I think you have the talent, you have the ability to win with what you got. They're just not consistently putting up what we thought they would. So if those guys start hitting better, Leiter starts being the guy you think he can be to add to that rotation, I think they'll be fine. And with the injury woes to the Mariners right now, maybe they pull away here in June a little bit from them, or at least take the lead.
I mean, they're coming off a good 10 game streak. They're 7-3 in the last 10. Mariners are 5-5. I mean, they could close that gap. Do we think the Astros can hold on a second? Because I think they can surpass the Astros. They're only a game back from them.
I think it depends on who comes back. Because Jordan's been on the 10-day IL with a hand strain for like a month now.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a problem. And like if you shut him down, I don't think your whole team has what it takes to stay this hot.
Right.
I think if you start struggling, I think Christian Walker might get moved. I kind of hope they don't, because it'd be stupid they sign him to such a long-term deal and then trade him. But I think I could see that happening. Yeah, the way I have it out, I have Texas winning the division, Seattle in second, Houston third, Oakland fourth, and Los Angeles fifth. But looks like we got through all the teams. Any other comments, questions, concerns you guys want to bring up to the audience?
None that I can think of.
All right, then that'll be it here for us on the Payoff Pitch. Make sure you guys check us out Friday on the Golden Ticket Show, bringing you the best NBA bets, NHL, soccer, MLB in our group parlay that Steve lost this week.
I got a story for that one, but I'm going to wait till off air because I was livid in Minnesota. But yeah, I got a funny story for you guys off air.
We're like, oh gosh, you're getting so upset now.
Oh no, me, yeah. For the listeners, so you don't get left out too much, man. Me and this lady from Manchester had it out on Saturday. Had it out. My coworkers didn't know. Listen. People from England like to drop the C word kind of heavy. Yeah. I definitely got called that on Saturday. My coworker, people in my sales office didn't know how to act when this lady was like, called me. And I just, I'm used to it. I have plenty of friends from England, but I laughed it off because I knew she wasn't like actually mad. You know what I mean? Like, but just throw down a C word at a gynecology meeting is not the best thing to do. That's all I gotta say for that. That's it.
Oh my god! All right. Well, on that note, there goes our demonetization.
I didn't say the word. You know what I mean? It's okay.
That'll be it for us here. Make sure you guys check us out on Twitter at Gotham Gambling, Kev's at Heels0809, and Stevie Fast Breaks at Fast Breaks. You can also catch our buddy Don Corleone Jones, who's not
shout him out. He didn't even show up.
He's here with us in spirit.
He didn't even say nothing. Hurt my feelings. Where you at, Don?
He texted.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah, that'll be it for us here. Make sure you guys check us all out on Friday.